Today we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about a topic that really we can't avoid, and that topic is stress. But the best part of it is we're not going to focus on the stress. We're going to talk about how we can stress less and laugh more. Of course, things are going to show up in our day that are going to put us into that feeling of the stress cycle. What I find is most people do not have the toolbox available to pull out and know, how do I address this stress? That's what I hope when we leave our time together that you're going to have. Start filling that toolbox with a lot of tools that not only are effective, but they're readily available. So let's get started. Now, we can't talk about stress without talking about stress. So let me tell you a little bit about what stress really is. You know, not all stress is bad. People think, stress, it's awful. It kills people. It's diseases are having stress underlying them. And that's all very true. But there's actually two kinds of stress. There's eustress, E-U-S-T-R-E-S-S, eustress, which is actually a positive stress. Nobody talks about this, but stress actually does have a bit of some positive benefits. So eustress, what would that be? It's short term. It's under our control. We can handle it. When I exercised this morning, I was putting my body under stress, but it was a good stress, wasn't it? If you have a project, you're planning a vacation, something that you're working on, yeah, that can cause a little bit of stress, but it's not harmful stress. Distress is what really leads to dis-ease. That is long term. It is out of our control. We don't know how we're going to handle it. Sadly, there's a lot of people who have been going through some pretty distressful situations, and you might even be one of them. This is the kind of stress that we really do need to address as it starts to come, to help support our body, our mind, what we're going through emotionally as those situations crop up. The challenge I think we have is many people mix up the two of them, right? Maybe you got up and your car wouldn't start. That's not distress. You can handle it. You can get, your battery jump, call AAA, whatever it is. We need to remember, what is it we're going through? I want to tell you a story that really changed my life around this. I read it many years ago in Reader's Digest. This story has never left me since. You see, a gentleman was working in a summer camp for children. He was in the kitchen staff. He was an older man, and most of the people he worked with were college kids, younger. And the food was not good at this camp, and the kids would complain and complain about the food. They couldn't wait to get a day off to go into town and get something decent to eat. This particular man never complained, not one word of complaint. And as they started to get towards the end of summer, the staff he was working alongside of couldn't take it anymore, and they said to him, "Can we ask you a question?" He said, "Certainly." They said, "Do you like the food?" He says, "No, not particularly." They said, "But you never complain." He said, "That's true." He says, "You see, many years ago I learned the difference between a problem and an inconvenience. I was in a concentration camp, and when I was there was nothing to eat. We were truly starving to death. This was a problem. Here, the food's plentiful. I just don't really care for the taste of it. And that's nothing but an inconvenience." I read that story and I changed my life that day, and I began to look at things that crop up in my day as, are they a problem or are they an inconvenience? Just this one step can help you to reframe. What is it that's happening in front of you? What are you facing that day? But we all know that our body indicates to us when we're under stress. Some people, their shoulders are up like this, so tight because their muscles tighten up. Or you shallow breathe way up here and you chest breathe. You never get a deep breath in. Maybe you get a tension headache. Or you just can't eat. Your stomach's so upset you can't eat. Or if you're like me, you eat everything in sight. There's not a carb, a cookie. Safe when I'm feeling stressed. So we start to pay attention to what our body is telling us And when our body says, hey, I'm really stressed here, we need to stop, recognize it, and do what I say is the 3 steps to stress relief. Step 1 is you have to face it, right? Hey, I'm noticing I'm under stress, right? Then you have to rate it. How serious is this? Do I need to go see my doctor, or is this something I can deal with? And the 3rd step is obliterate it. Get rid of the stress the moment you recognize that this is happening. That's what I want to talk about today. What are our tools to obliterate stress the moment we've noticed that we're feeling that way? Stress is going to show up in our life. We're not going to avoid it. But what we don't have to do is treat it like we're running away from the dinosaur that's here to attack us. So what can we do? Well, I already talked about one step that you can do immediately to reduce stress when it happens. What can we do? Breathe. Not up here, little shallow breaths. Breathe. Deep breaths. Remember when you were little and you get all excited, your mom would say, shh, 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 take a breath, calm down, take a breath. Calm down and take a breath. You know, I actually used to have a little sticker on my computer monitor, and it would say, just breathe. And it would remind me sometimes in the middle of the day to just take a moment and take a breath. Now, I have some friends who are yoga teachers, and I do yoga, and one of the breaths that I learned is probably one of my greatest tools when I am feeling overwhelmed, when I am feeling that really high level of stress. And what it is it's called alternate nostril breathing. And what you do is you close one nostril and breathe in and out. Now close the other one. Don't close them both at the same time. Breathe in again from that side and out, and then reverse. Just in that one cycle, you'll already start to feel the oxygen coming up into your brain. You're going to feel more awake, more alert. Do that 3 or 4 times. You will find the cortisol, the stress hormone, actually reduce and drop just from that breath. It really works. Now, you may not want to do it in front of people, be doing this in a crowd, but maybe you can excuse yourself to the restroom or go into your car and just take a moment to breathe. Another thing you can do is an exaggerated sigh. When we are under stress, what we tend to do is we tend to sigh. We'll just sigh. What we can do is use that as a way to actually reduce the stress. So you breathe in. One more time. It feels so good. Some of the reason is because if you are exhaling, saying something, you will give a full exhale. Then what? We get a full, deep inhale. Also, when we're stressed, we clench our jaws. Open and relax our face. So simple, but it works. I'm going to let you in on a little secret of my very favorite way to breathe when I need a little break. Here are some of my greatest tools right here for stress relief. I'm going to show you with this one. You can go pick these up for like $1 somewhere, right? Keep this maybe by your desk or in your car. Breathe, right? Breathe. Now, maybe you know you need to have these with you. Just if you're standing in line somewhere or you're running errands, pick up some little bubbles. Keep them in your pocket, purse. Breathe. How simple. Uh-oh. I've actually been known to take these when I have to go to a doctor's office and I'm waiting in the waiting room, and I'm waiting, and I can feel the stress. I pull these out. People will start talking to you if you start blowing bubbles in places like that, right? So using these. And I know right now it's probably hard if you're around other people because we're all masking up. But you can still have those. Keep them in your car, and when you're sitting in the parking lot, you can use them there. Or at home, keep them there. Standing outside away from other people. We need to be using these tools in every way that we can because we've all had a rough year. And we don't know what lies ahead, but I'm going to tell you something. We've never known what lies ahead. That's always been an illusion. And so one of the things we're learning is to come into this present moment of now, living in the moment. People say to me, Nancy, you never have a bad day, do you? And I say, no, I really don't, because I know the value of a day. I know tomorrow's not promised. So I'm going to take all I can out of this day. I have bad moments, though. We all do. And so what I find is that when I am getting overwhelmed, I am stressed, I am tired, maybe I'm hangry. I'm hungry and I'm angry, right? I need food. What I'll do is use these tools. And I may not get all the way up to the level of joy that day, but I'll go from where I am to a little bit better feeling place. Because these tools work and they help us to go from where we are to feeling a little bit better and being able to face everything that's happening in our day. So now we know we can use this breath that's always available to us to help reduce our stress. But what are some of the other things we can do? We can move our body. We can exercise. We can take a walk, even if the walk is just back and forth in our house. I've done that before. I just need a little break. I need a little mental clarity. I need a little stress break. What do? I just get up and start walking. It might be just pacing back and forth in my home. Might be outside and just walk around the building once and go back in. It clears our head. It reduces our stress. Any kind of exercise and movement. We don't have to be sweating and feeling the burn to get the benefits. Just walking can be enough to help us to start to reduce stress, right? Maybe for some of you, you love to journal or talk to someone. Express what's going on in some way. As a matter of fact, I recently recommended to some people that there's something called ecstatic dance. This is a wonderful way to get rid of stress, and it's fun. Put on some music, whatever you like, and just move your body. Express what it's feeling in whatever way you need to. It's not choreographed. Nobody has to watch you. What you're going to do is just express, right? Maybe it's just a stomping dance like when we were little and threw tantrums, remember? But I'm telling you, these silly little things will help you. Dance. This is the kinds of things that I live with. I do these things. I would not ask of you anything that I haven't put into my own toolbox. And I like to have lots of tools. So depending on the circumstances or the day, I know what I can turn to. And as you know, the number one thing I like to turn to is laughter. So I want to talk a little bit about that and why it is probably what they say as being the best medicine. When we laugh, laugh. What happens is my brain says, hey, she's laughing. And whether it's an authentic laughter or just a forced laughter like I just did, the brain will not completely differentiate that. All it knows is you're laughing and all these wonderful things start to happen. Number one, it drops your stress. The cortisol level drops. The endorphins that make you feel good rise. And you start to feel better now. What are some of the other things that happen when you laugh? You breathe. We already talked about that. And you breathe. You breathe deeply. As a matter of fact, they found that when you laugh regularly, you can have fewer upper respiratory illnesses. I haven't had a cold in years, but I also have an HPOA. I have a laughter plan, and I laugh regularly. So what else can we do, right? It helps us with pain, with if we have like arthritis or conditions that are painful where our muscles are tight. What they find is when you laugh, it relaxes your muscles, which can help with some pain relief, but it's also why we pee our pants when we laugh, right? We relax all of our muscles. But it can really be very healthy for us to laugh. It helps with brain health. When you laugh, you will have up to 600% greater memory retention just following a laughter session. This falls under can't hurt, might help, right? It's always available. It's not going to hurt you to laugh. It helps our moods, to regulate our moods from the swings maybe we have. It helps to level off our moods and elevate them a bit. All of these things from that, right? So imagine if somebody said to you, we could boost your immune system. We could reduce your stress. We could help you with whole brain thinking using your left and your right side of your brain to help with memory, retention. It can help to reduce your pain. It can help with circulation, with the blood vessels relaxing just as if you were exercising. Are you signing up for that? Because I know I am. But what I find is we tend to say, well, you know, if something funny happens that day, I'll laugh. I hope you're understanding how important it is that you don't wait for something external in order for you to laugh. We need an HPOA, a humor plan of action. Do you have one? I do. I've lived with mine for years. So I want you, have a paper and pen available and start to write down some of the things that you use that will help you to laugh. I'll start your list for you. I start every day when I'm getting ready in the morning. I watch YouTube on my phone and I put in funny comedians I like, funny shows, sometimes outtakes from shows I like, blooper reels, whatever I know will get me to laugh. If nothing else, just put in laughing baby and listen to babies laugh because they laugh with their whole body. We need to get to that point, right? So start your day with laughter, not with the news. I'm going to give you a hint. Nobody watches the news and says, I feel so good now, right? Start your day with laughter. Maybe you want to have on your humor plan of action funny shows that you like to watch. And those are always available between the streaming services, buying them on DVD. You can always find something funny to watch. So absolutely start that list. Start to put those in your watch list. So you are watching things that help to elevate your mood and lift you. Even on the days you feel the least like laughing is when you need to the most. I'm going to say that again. When you feel the least like laughing is when you need to the most. So we need to have this humor plan of action. And if you're watching something funny and you are sad, and it's okay to be sad. It's okay to have any emotions that you are feeling. But understand that emotions come in and leave like waves. We don't tend to stay in any one emotion throughout the day or the week. But if you're having a tough day and you want to feel a little bit better, put on something funny. Because what they found in research is, even if you're not laughing, your brain still says, hey, that's funny. And you'll start to get some of those benefits we spoke about. So still put on something to watch that will get you to laugh. Some of the things people have told me, and I know for me, I play with my dogs. That always gets me laughing. So sometimes your pets can get you to laugh. Or you can go and maybe borrow a neighbor's pet if you don't have one. Or go and watch a funny animal video to help you to laugh. Now, one of the things I recommend that everybody should have is a joy basket. You should have this in your house, maybe even in multiple rooms, in your office. If you work somewhere, you need a joy basket. And what is that joy basket? It's filled with all kinds of little toys. I have a little wind-up marching band that goes across my desk when I'm feeling a little stressed that I can put on. Fill it with little toys that can help you to have something, to have a little play break. One of the things that I really like to have in my joy basket is this. I am challenging you that you cannot be mad when you're wearing a clown nose because you feel so ridiculous. I do this if I have to call customer service and you're pushing 1 and waiting and pushing 2 and waiting and you're on hold and on hold. I put my nose on because unless you're video chatting, they don't know you have this on. And it helps me to feel better, right? When I find those daily frustrations, I make sure I have my nose on. Now, I found this for when I'm really having a stressful moment. And I can put this on and I feel so silly and so ridiculous that it will get me laughing. If I get upset with my husband, I can be like, I'm very mad at you right now. And he's like, and then we laugh. So here are some things that you can put into your joy basket so that you have a better day right then. Starting to put these things together can help you to laugh more and stress less. But one of the things that we like to talk about in Laughter Club is our daily living practices. And I want to review those with you. So every day of the week, focus on one of these attributes. Now, I tend to do them all day, every day. They're just part of how I relate to life now. But I would challenge you, at least for now, to start each day focused on one of these principles for living. So Monday is about compliments. Not only receiving compliments and saying thank you, but giving compliments. If somebody was really helpful to you, recognize it. If you can, go to their manager, go above them. Make sure people know that you appreciate the work that they are doing. Giving a compliment costs so little, but it means so much. As a matter of fact, one time I was at the grocery store and the young man who was checking me out, oh, he was phenomenal, just telling us stories, bagging our groceries really well. I had a great time actually giving him my money and checking out. So I went up to the customer service desk and I asked if I could talk to a manager. The manager came over, he said, "Can I help you? Was there something wrong?" I said, "No, Jason at checkout 17, he's amazing. He was such care he took to bag our groceries and chat with us and make it such a pleasant experience. I just wanted you to know." The manager looked at me and he said, "Are you his mother?" Like nobody could go out of their way to give a compliment unless you were related. I've never forgotten that, and I have tried to catch people by surprise by giving compliments ever since. Now, Tuesdays are for flexibility, and I told you I do yoga, and I do not mean you have to do downward dog or one of the different poses in yoga to have flexibility. Flexibility is more about flexible with yourself and others. Flexible with yourself and others. If the day is not going the way you planned, can you let it go and let it flow? Because what we know is when you resist what's happening, you just get stressed, and it rarely changes the circumstances. So can you just accept, well, this is how it's going. I'm going to practice flexibility. Wednesdays are for gratitude. This is probably one of the most powerful days of the week for me. Just being able to recognize at the end of the day 3 things that went right in your day. I think the most powerful prayer we have is, thank you. So even when we can see circumstances around us maybe of what's troubling to us, what's challenging to us, being able within it to find some small element to be grateful for. Maybe it's that we have friends around us who care, or supportive family. Maybe it's that we realize how strong we really are in that circumstance. Maybe it's just, it was a warm and sunny day and I was able to open my windows and the fresh air in my home felt so good. Practicing that attitude of gratitude. You know, I believe you get more of what you focus on. You get more of what you focus on. So focus on reasons to be grateful so things to be grateful for can show up in your day. Focus on things that make you happy, that bring you joy, that get you to laugh. And start to seek those things out. Begin to notice, where are you focused? And start to look at if that needs to be shifted a little bit. Thursdays are for kindness. Kindness is kind of a really cool thing. Because what they found in research is, if I do a kindness to someone, my serotonin levels that make me feel good, they rise. The person who received that kindness, their serotonin levels go up too, and they feel pretty good. The interesting thing they found in the research is anybody who witnessed that kindness, their serotonin levels go up as well. We are wired for kindness. This is why when we watch those shows, remember when Oprah gave everybody a car and you got a car and you get a car, and I didn't get a car, but I felt pretty good because everybody was so happy. Watching those shows, the home makeovers, all of those things where people are so happy because of a kindness done to them, helps us to start to feel better as well. So I would challenge you on Thursday, right, to pay it forward. Do a kind act and see how wonderful that feels. Even something small can make a big difference. Now, Fridays are for forgiveness, and forgiveness is a tough one. I know I'm capable of carrying a grudge for a long time. Mark Twain said, "Forgiveness is the fragrance the violet leaves on the heel that has crushed it." Forgiveness is the fragrance the violet leaves on the heel that has crushed it. I don't know that I'm there yet, but I know that on Fridays I try to practice forgiveness, not just about other people. Sometimes I have to forgive myself. Maybe I didn't eat well that day. Maybe I didn't get up in time to exercise. Maybe there's something that I feel I failed my plan for my wellness. I let it go and I forgive myself. Now, weekends are the best, but you get to practice your weekend anytime you want, because weekends, we say, are for chocolate. Now, I don't just mean chocolate. I also mean what we call chocolate moments. And this is key because chocolate moments are about self-care. And self-care is not selfish. You must take care of yourself if you want to take care of anyone else. You just won't have the capacity if you haven't taken care of yourself. Now, I was working with my grief support group the other day, and they were really struggling with this. I'm too busy. I don't even remember what that looks like. I've been a caregiver for so long, Nancy. I don't even know what it's like to take care of myself anymore. And I blurted out, self-care is as simple as if you're hungry, you eat. If you're tired, go to sleep. Self-care, you don't have to go and have a whole spa day. Just notice what you need and give it to yourself. If you need to take a little walk, take a few minutes and a break, right? If you need a little joy basket play break, take that break. Take those chocolate moments, and when you are having them, say, I'm having a chocolate moment. This is what I'm doing for myself. It will make a big difference. So if you have time on the weekends, then you do it on the weekends. If you have time during the week, for goodness sakes, take a chocolate moment whenever you can. And if that means actually eating some chocolate, everything in moderation, my grandmother used to say. So that's okay too. Now you may have noticed my little friends back here. And I want to talk to you a little bit about stress. But I want to show you the different personality types and how they react to stress. So I brought out my friends from the 100-acre woods, and let's talk about them a little bit. Let's see. Poor Al is going to probably fall. So think about, as I go through these, which one are you primarily? We all have a little bit of them in us, but what's your primary personality? Are you a Roo? Baby Roo is never stressed. Oh, we're lost in the woods at night. What a great adventure. Baby Roo represents that inner child that's in all of us, that little part of us that just wants to go out and play, that just wants to be loved and nurtured and heard. We all have that inner child, and I encourage everyone to have an inner child outing each week. Go out and do something that's fun for your child. Might be going down a slide at the playground across the street from where you live. Or maybe it's having a carpet picnic and putting a blanket on the floor and eating dinner on the floor. Maybe it's game night. And everybody's been doing those even virtually now, where I've played games with my children who live all over the world. Do an inner child outing, because Roo does not feel stress. Now, some of you are probably Kangas. Kangas are the caregivers who take care of everyone except who? Themselves. Kangas don't have chocolate moments. They're too busy taking care of and fussing and worrying over everybody around them. If you are a Kanga, you need to make sure you schedule in those chocolate moments, that humor plan of action. You put the stress plan into place and take care of yourself as well. If not, you will feel very stressed. Maybe you're Christopher Robin. Christopher Robin is the one that everybody runs to and dumps all their problems on. What are we going to do? I don't know. Let's go to Christopher Robin. He'll know. And everybody runs and dumps their problems on Christopher Robin personalities. And what do we do as a Christopher Robin? We help. We solve. We stop what we're doing in order to take care of that person who we think needs our help. Instead, if you're a Christopher Robin, give them information and walk away. Let them make that phone call. Let them do that search on the internet. Let them use your information rather than you do it for them. Because if not, you're not getting done what you needed to do in your day. And that can create a lot of stress. Owls. Owls, I always say, are that know-it-all that know nothing. Right? They're interrupting conversations they're overhearing to interject something that makes no sense. They just want to be heard. These are what I call the ones that are the high-stroke folk, right? You're so pretty, you're so funny, I just love being around you. You have to stroke and stroke until you're exhausted, but it's because they need external validation. They have low self-esteem and do not internally validate themselves. So they are always looking to see who will recognize me. And when they are not receiving that, they end up feeling very stressed. But when you're around one, they can exhaust you because it's never enough. It's never enough with what you're doing for them. Then we have piglets. Piglets live with what I call the Monday looks like Thursday syndrome. That's your piglet, right? They live in routine because anything else leaves them into a stress state. They don't feel safe and secure. They need to know what is going to be expected and what is happening. It is that routine right? Remember the stories? Poo, heffalumps, woozles, right? Always looking around of what might be scary out there in the world. And so what happens as a piglet is we do better when we have routine and sameness and we know what to expect. So the stress comes when the schedule changes. The Tuesdays are for flexibility, do not work well with a poo. So they need to learn if anything's going to change. They need to know about it and work through it slowly so it becomes part of their new schedule, of their new normal. Now, oh gosh, our little fussy rabbits, they live in a high anxiety state all the time. Oh, be careful, you might drop that. Oh, what? Oh, the door, right? And they're always in that high stress, anxiety state. I said, you go to a rabbit's house and they have plastic runners on the floor and plastic on the furniture just to make sure everything's safe and protected because they're so nervous all the time. And what happens when we're around a rabbit? We start to feel nervous too. We pick up on that energy. So we need to first of all recognize if we are around a rabbit personality and realize that's just how they're wired. We don't have to feed into that. And if you are one of these high stress rabbits, recognize that and start to see what can you do to help yourself to bring down that anxiety level, that nervous energy. It might be the breathing we talked about, but doing something to help to bring that down. Then we have Tiggers. I'm a Tigger if you can't tell, right? I'm bouncy, flouncy, pouncy, fun. We go and we go and we go and we go. We also tend to suffer from what I call the pretty shiny syndrome or squirrel. And we get a little distracted quickly if something else showing up. And so you have to look at us and go, focus here. I'm talking to you here so that we stay focused. We're a lot of fun to be around. Tiggers are fun, but we can be very unfocused. And that can lead us to stress. When we multitask with too many wonderful projects at the same time, we can get very stressed. We need to be extremely organized. We have to have our list of things to do and even prioritize within our list to do because otherwise stress can creep in because we have a hard time knowing what are we supposed to be working on at that moment or focused on. So that's us. But we're an awful lot of fun. Now, you all know when you're with an Eeyore, how you doing? Not so good. Oh, it'll probably get better later. I don't know how it possibly can. The Eeyores are what I call the drama queens and kings of the world. They are inversely happier the more miserable they are. We're not going to cheer them up because they don't want their misery fixed. We need to know when we are around an Eeyore, don't try to fix or advise unless they ask for it. If they share with you their woes, say, you know, I might have something that could help. Would you like to hear it? And they might say yes, and they might say no, and that's okay. But we need to know that when we are around them, don't let them bring you down where they are. And if you are an Eeyore, maybe practice some of that HPOA or doing some random acts of kindness, things that elevate your mood and help you to feel better. And then finally, we have my friend Pooh. Poohs never get stressed. Oh, bother, looks like rain. Oh, tut, tut, stuck in a tree, right? Nothing bothers a Pooh. They don't get stressed. You could be waiting for them and say, I've been waiting 20 minutes. And they'll be like, yeah, I'm running late. The stress does not happen with them the way it does maybe for others, but they're wonderful for crisis management. If you're feeling yourself very stressed, find a friend who's a Winnie the Pooh because you'll be like, oh, I can't even tell you what all has been happening. They're like, sit down, take a breath. We'll figure this out. It's fine. So having a Winnie the Pooh in your life can be a wonderful resource. these are some of the things you can do. I hope you've learned ways that you can stress less and you can laugh more. I'm telling you, I live by these every day. My toolbox is full of tools that I pull out, like the ones I've discussed with you already, because I know one thing, and that's this. I want every day possible to have a yay day. So I wish you well, and I hope you can have a yay day, or at least a yay moment. Thank you so much.